Welcome to The Deciding Point, our Cracked Racquets weekly breakdown of the biggest storylines going on throughout the tennis world. We're going to focus on the professional action this week. We had 4 fantastic tournaments delivering us some very fun results. With that in mind, here was one of our biggest storylines from the past week of pro tennis. Let's talk now about the WTA event that unfolded in Doha. Another fantastic week of tennis delivered to us fans by the WTA Tour, and it really does feel like the name of the game during this 2021 season in women's tennis is going to be parity. It's not just the players within the top 10, not just within the top 20, but it does feel like there are a bunch of names, even within the top 50, top 60, that depending on the week, depending on the conditions, if they play their best tennis, can absolutely make a run deep into any event. You talk about someone who fits that profile in Jessica Pegula, who makes the semifinals this past week in Doha before being knocked out by the eventual champion, someone who played some spectacular tennis over the course of the past week in Doha, and that's Petra Kvitova, who in the final match knocked off Garbine Muguruza straight sets 6-2, 6-1. I mean, certainly the conditions in Doha those last 2 days were rough. There were swirling winds, and the quality of that Kvitova-Pegula match, not the cleanest match certainly you'll ever see, but that match clearly helped Petra Kvitova, who I also had the chance to speak to and ask that question about, and you can go hear her answer in our mini break podcast, but clearly helped her going into day 2 because the winds weren't nearly as bad as they were in her semifinal match, and Garbine Muguruza didn't play a semifinal after Azarenka had to pull out with a back injury. So for Petra Kvitova, I mean, it doesn't matter how windy it is. When she's connecting well with the ball, when she's moving as well as she did the past week, she's going to hit through any court, through any opponent. That's what she was able to do. She did a particularly good job of targeting that Muguruza forehand with her serve and +1 shot, because Muguruza, just a rock on that backhand wing, does such a good job of absorbing power and redirecting it. And look, Kvitova never allowed Muguruza to find her rhythm either. And now, when you look for Petra Kvitova, who with this result has the 28th title of her career, she is now 26-8 overall since the start of the 2020 season. During that time span, she's made that Roland Garros semifinal run last year. She made the round of 16 at the US Open last year. She made the Doha final last year before losing that match, obviously, here this year. She ends up winning in this title match, and look, wins for her over Pegula, over Kontaveit, over Pavlyuchenkova. It was a tough road to the title, but what Petra Kvitova proves once again, and the fact that she is 28-10 in her final matches, and Tumaini Carriel, my friend, pointed out in a tweet that she's now 24-7 in finals that aren't WTA 500 or higher level events. Hope you guys like the hand gesture there symbolizing the higher. She's 24-7, and what he pointed out, and I think is correct, when she plays her best tennis at an event, usually she wins that event. That speaks to how high a ceiling Petra Kvitova has as a player, and she was fantastic this week. And so was Garbine Muguruza, by the way, who now leads the WTA in wins on this 2021 season. And I know it's very early, but she came closest to knocking off Naomi Osaka in Australia, had those match points. There were times this week in Doha she looked simply untouchable, and you do wonder how that no semifinal match broke her rhythm. But the win over Sabalenka early in the event for Muguruza, she played fantastic tennis. She followed it up so well in her subsequent matches. I think she's going to win a Grand Slam in 2021 because we know her game translates across surfaces, and she just looks fit. She looks confident. I expect big things out of her, and ditto with Petra Kvitova, ditto with Jessica Pegula, who is going to crack the top 30, I think, at some point this season, which is just crazy to think about, given, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, she was outside the top 100, and so this was a fantastic week of tennis, and the really cool thing is we followed up this week in Dubai as well. So, again, WTA Tour continues to deliver the goods. Credit to Petra Kvitova, Garbine Muguruza, Jessica Pegula, and all of the players for doing their role once again in this past week's Doha event.